Hello everyone, it's your boy MP coming to you live and direct from a 2006 Honda EX Civic, which would be the 4-door Civic. They obviously make a 2-door as well. And I really want to do this video just because I really feel like out of the Honda line, the Civic is like kind of like their bread and butter. You know, it's their mass volume in sales. They've had it for 30 plus years. The car is like a dinosaur and it's gone through so many variations. I mean, we're talking about 4-doors, we're talking about coupes, we talk about 3-doors, we talk about 5-doors, we talk about leather seats, we talk about fabric seats, we talk about hybrid, we talk about 4-cylinders. I mean, we talk about everything, and the Civic pretty much embodies that. For me, not really that impressed with the drive, but what do you really expect out of a $15,000 to $20,000 car that's sitting on a 140 horsepower 4-cylinder 1.8 liter motor and a front wheel drive? The car to me is like kind of sluggishly slow, but at the same time, you know, not too bad. I mean, when I say sluggishly slow, I mean like when I hit the throttle, even though it's, you know, it's not in turbo, it's naturally aspirated, it's just so slow and it works so hard that it's kind of boring. I mean, this basically, you just get right away. This is an A to B car. This isn't a I'm gonna have fun car. If you want a fun car, you should probably look at the Civic Si or just look at a different car altogether in general. For me, the interior is kind of meh. Like the seats, for instance, fabric seats, you know, they're comfortable, they're really comfortable, but the quality of the material just seems really like Motel 6 actually. Just like not really good, but decent. Like you could tell that these seats are going to take a beating. They're going to get stained really easily. It's not going to be like, it's probably not, the seats won't last as long as the car. That's for definite. The steering wheel feels, and I say taste because it feels kind of like a gum, or like the sole of like a Converse shoe. It's really, really rubbery. You could tell that over time this thing is going to get really, really worn down. They probably would have been better off to go with like a hard plastic. I can understand why they wouldn't go with a leather, but not a big fan of that. And what I'm really not a big fan of is the car's too small for me to get far enough back where I can really show you. I'm at a dead stop here on the road. Really tiny, kind of futuristic steering wheel, not vibing the design so much, even though it has some functionality. But what I don't like is that you have this tiny ass steering wheel, and then you have a split between a digital miles per hour gas and temperature reading on the upper dash to this tiny ass like bento box RPM reading layout that they have here for the dashboard here, and it just sucks. It's not very good, I don't think. The digital thing is kind of cool, but it just kind of sucks how it's just so split up. I mean, I guess when you're driving, for safety purposes, it allows you not to take your eyes off the road and get a mile per hour reading, but it's just like not very impressively laid out to me. The buttons over here, like the window and stuff like that, that's okay, that's pretty good. And it's pretty cool, these buttons right here, and that's going to adjust like to get temperature reading outside, and obviously the dimming of the dash and all that kind of stuff. This, for all the Acura and other Honda owners out there, this has to probably look like the inside of your car, because this is pretty much the same in all of their cars. It's like elevated, falling off the cliff kind of look, with the RDX Acura shift knob exactly the same. So, you know, it is what it is. It's nothing to like, I guess, get overly excited about. You know, when I drove the car on the freeway, I did not have a lot of confidence, and that's just really because it felt really, really loose. Not too squirrely because the car is not that powerful, but it felt like the wind could tip me over and blow me away if my window was down and it just moved my steering wheel. It's not very firm, and I guess that's kind of expected, again, with the history of the Civic, the quality of the car, the price point of the car. I'm really trying to keep an open mind, as you could tell, because you're getting something that's going to last 20 years and get 30 miles per gallon in a 4-cylinder, super reliable, great history car. That's part of the reason why they've kept the Civic around for 30 years, because it is a pretty good little car. The one thing that drives me really nuts, and primarily it drives me nuts because the build quality is not bad, it's just cheap. You know, again, you gotta fall back on price point. You hear a lot of squeaking, a lot of like rubber, like rubbing together sounds. You hear a lot of rattling, and the car only has 20,000 miles on it. It's already starting to kind of loosen up and fall apart, and that's what happens when you buy a really, really cheap, poorly made. Now, again, I don't want to say poorly made because it's assembled well. It's just that the materials they're using and the way they go about doing it, like staple welding and stuff like that, isn't the highest quality and it isn't the best quality. And so what happens, you get, like, look at that, I put my foot down, it took a second to pick up, and then you hear all that noise. Anyways, back to the build quality. I'm sorry, I'm just you know, you're gonna get what you pay for, so that's why it rattles and makes all that horrific noise. So that's pretty much it. I would say that the drive is decent enough for an A to B, not fun enough to, you know, put goosebumps on your legs. It just is what it is. You got to appreciate it for that, and know that when you buy this car, you're really getting something that could last for 20 years. The only thing I would keep in mind, because the car doesn't depreciate in value that much, which is good in terms of resale value, it also is hard in terms of resale value, because if you look at this car, it's an 06, we're asking $15,000 for it. You could go buy a brand new one for about 20 or under 20,000 right now, especially with the way that they're whoring out the cars, because the demand on it isn't as high as it once was, especially with the car market being a little soft right now. You're gonna get screaming deals. So if you're a buyer, I would really strongly consider looking at a new one, just because you're gonna have the better rates. You're gonna get a new car for not that much more of a price. That's all I can really say. If you have any questions about the Civic or would like to know more about it, please feel free to reach me. But in the meantime, love what you drive what you love, and keep on motoring.